Los Angeles, 1919. Before the freeways, before the film business was out of its infancy, but not before crime. The city certainly had its share of it.
Operator, I need a line.
I just won again. Look.
Yeah.
Intestines. Guts.
I burst with pride at being the daughter of Earl Rogers, the famous criminal attorney.
Papa!
To me, the greatest of all time. It was thrilling for me, and Grandpa too, who never missed one of his cases. To hear him deliver an impassioned plea or do something dramatic that had never been done before in a court of law.
Well, it was a few days ago. We came up with some information, and so we removed the guts and put them in a jar, and this is what happened.
Were you worried that the jury would believe you?
Bill Jory was Papa's investigator.
They would. Thank you, gentlemen.
Just go more quick.
You think you're insurmountable?
Excuse the telephone line right away.
He came with information on another case.
Mr. Rogers, wait up a second. One more picture.
Now, according to the arresting officer, Al Boyd's father, who lives in Atlanta, gave his son a good-sized stake to start a business. Just as long as it was a fair distance from the old homestead. Because this kid's 19 and he's caused more mischief. I mean, he's embarrassed the whole family. So anyway, he came here, he hooks up with a Harry Johnson. They plan to open a cigar store together with Boyd's money and Johnson's know-how. Well, the kid gets hot to play a game of poker with a Louisville sport. Johnson tries to talk him out. No go. So Johnson sets up the card game. Boyd loses his stake, comes unglued, and ventilates the Louisville sport.
Well, I'm just surprised somebody didn't kill him a long time ago.
Don Brown! Don Brown! I am gonna get you, Don Brown!
You better hope she doesn't catch him.
There'll be a grease spot on the sidewalk when I'm done with you! I'll get you, Don Brown! If you ever see an acorn at me again!
Stop it! Just stop it, you kids! You ladies and gentlemen don't act like that. Just stop it! Stop it right now! You just stop it! You just stop there! Oh, good afternoon, Reverend Rogers. I'm sorry, I was just trying to stop the children from fighting.
Now you're in for it. My grandpa's a reverend. He rode the circuit to Tombstone and Dodge and all those places. He knows Jesus. He's gonna tell him you're shooting acorns at me, aren't you, Grandpa?
You're all right, son.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'm fine.
Oh, good. Right. Oh, look at you. I mean, you're a mess. Your mama's gonna throw a fit. Yeah. Come on. Aunt Blanche and I will bring you out. Come on.
Go home, Don Brown. Out of here right now. Just get out.
Well, if Don Brown's father spent less time pinching women, he'd have more time to teach his son decent behavior.
Did Mr. Brown pinch you, Aunt Blanche?
He wouldn't dare.
Did you want him to?
Laura, stop that.
Well, that's where Don Brown learns all those bad things he does from his father. The fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, you know.
Now, where'd you hear that?
Well, I read it, Grandpa, right in your book of quotations. Grandpa, have you ever seen anybody as bad as Don Brown? You're gonna tell Jesus, aren't you? Jesus will smite him for me.
Jesus does not do your bidding, young lady. In fact, it's the other way around. I tell you, I think you and I should have a little talk. Come in, sit down.
Lowell L. Rogers, Book Divine, Thou art mine, make me thine. Grandpa had written that in the front of his Bible. Christianity hasn't been tried and found wanting, someone once said. It hasn't been tried. Grandpa tried it every moment of his life, so he was trying to get me to try it.
Laura? What do you plan on doing with that?
I'm gonna give Don Brown a case of lead poisoning. I'm gonna kill him.
Well, now, before you kill him, you want to tell me why?
He killed Tom with his slingshot. For nothing. Tom was walking right here. Don always said my cat was bad luck. And then he shot him with his slingshot. Now Tom's run off someplace to die. And I'm gonna shoot Don Brown.
All right. Now, I understand how you feel, but I want you to stop that noise. Nora, you can't think when you're crying. That's why it wasn't necessary to give some women anything to think with, because they cry so much. So just sit down here and stop it now.
Yes, Papa.
All right. Now, Nora, everybody, except possibly saints like your grandfather, gets the urge to kill sometimes. But you can't go around killing people and have civilization. Now, your grandpa taught you, thou shalt not kill.
Don Brown killed Tom. He shall not kill either.
Well, you're absolutely right. Don killing Tom is provocation, maybe even justification for you. So I guess if you'd done it, I'd defend you.
What about Don Brown? He killed Tom. Would you defend him?
Well, I guess I'd have to see the corpus delicti first. Body. And then, well, yes, I would defend Don. You see, that's the best part of the jury system, Nora. The presumption of innocence. A man is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
But I saw him shoot Tom. Tom! Tom, you're here. You didn't die.
Well, it looks like the corpus delicti is still pretty lively. I guess some things aren't as they seem. Now, Nora, what shall I do with this?
Hide it.
It's a good idea. Mr. Boyd, your son is going to need all the support he can get. You should be here whether I take the case or not. I said you should be here whether I take the case
come and get
or
it.
not.
Long, shh. Stop that racket.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rogers is on the telephone.
Yes, Miss Roger, but if soup cold, don't blame alarm.
One of the parents is here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I see. Yes, well, I'm sorry about Mrs. Boyd. I'll talk to Al and let you know tomorrow. That's all right. You're welcome. Goodbye. Mr. Boyd's not coming.
That's not right. He should have his papa with him even if he did gun down that slicker.
Mrs. Boyd is ill, and Mr. Boyd says he can't leave her. It sounds like abandonment to me. Anyway, he says he'll pay me whatever I want.
Then at least you'll get a fee this time. Everybody wants Earl Rogers. Not everybody wants to pay.
I'll go down to the jail after supper and talk to the boy.
Can I come with you, Papa?
No, you cannot, young lady. Jail is no place for a child.
But, Mama, I've been there hundreds of times.
I don't see the harm in her coming.
Oh, I know you don't. You seem to treat her like a grown-up son.
Oh, Mama, I've got to go now that Papa's told me all about corpus delicti.
Nora, I don't think dead bodies are proper conversation for the supper table.
But I'll die if I don't go. Papa, do you remember when we read Omar Khayyam about the luckless pots marred in making? Al Boyd could be a luckless pot. Besides, I bet I'll even be able to tell if he did it or not.
You have to admit, Bill, that certainly would be a good thing for me to know.
Two of a kind. Go if you like, Nora, but what you find of interest in the jailhouse escapes me.
Nobody dresses up to go to jail. Ow. Ow.
Nora, please, I'm not hurting you.
No, but you might. Mama, I love Papa. I like to go with him wherever he goes.
I know you do, dear. That's the special thing about your papa. Everybody loves him. Every man, woman, and child.
Did you love him right away when you first saw him?
Yes. Yes, I think I did. At the college dance at Syracuse, we danced right out into the snow.
Mama, when you love somebody, do you love them forever? I'll bet you do.
Yes, dear, of course.
Then why do you and Papa argue so much?
Oh, I wouldn't say we argue. Your Papa and I have different ideas about some things. We talk them out.
Aunt Blanche says that's because you're a small-town girl from New York and Papa's a crazy Californian.
Yes, well, your Aunt Blanche knows everything. She certainly does. She should also know there are certain things about your Papa that a small-town girl, an innocent girl, doesn't find out right away.
What kind of things? Oh, that's Papa. Coming, Papa!
Nora?
Bye, Mama. Papa, do you wish I was a boy?
Why? What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
Well, that's what I think.
In those days, there was no such thing as juvenile court. If you were old enough to kill, you were old enough to hang. So it didn't matter one bit that Al Boyd was still a teenager.
Here he is, Mr. Rogers. Maybe you can get along better with him than me.
Thank you, Juan.
¿Cómo está, Nora?
Muy bien, Juan. ¿Y usted?
Igualmente.
She knows that Beaner talk, huh?
That Beaner talk, as you call it, was spoken here long before you learned your version of English, Mr. Boyd. My name is Earl Rogers. This is my daughter, Nora. Your father has asked me to take on your case.
He's not coming, is he?
No. If I am to take your case, Mr. Boyd, I have to have the truth from you.
I got no chance. Nobody here likes a Southerner.
I grant you there are some that don't like Southerners. There are some that don't like anybody. Those are the kind I keep off a jury.
Now, how you gonna do that in this jerkwater town? Huh?
You get on a witness stand talking like that, son, and you're not gonna make many friends.
Too bad.
Yeah, it is too bad for you. You don't seem to understand something, Mr. Boyd. You're ripe for hanging. Now, it's my understanding from your statement here that your friend Harry Johnson set up a poker game with William Yeager, the Louisville sport. Was Johnson a friend of his?
No. No, he knew a woman named Queenie. She knew the sport. Introduced Harry. Harry set it up.
Didn't you know the sport's reputation? That he was a card shark?
I could have beat him if it was fair and square.
What makes you think it would have been fair and square? Mr. Boyd, do you always carry a gun into a poker game?
Lawyer, it's the only way to go into a poker game.
Let's talk about the game. Who were the players?
Well, the barkeep served up the drinks. There's a sport. A couple of yokels. Played. I don't know how long, but I lost track of time. Davin, the bar guy, kept us pretty well oiled.
Mr. Boyd, there was no yokel or Mexican in the room when the sport was killed.
That's right. They got cleaned. They quit. Which is exactly the way I wanted it. And I was getting a little thin, but everybody knows luck changes.
Full.
Queens over fulls.
Nice hand. Under different circumstances.
Wait a minute. Game's not over.
Is for me, you dry.
Wait a minute. I still got this.
Take it to a pawn shop.
No, one more hand. Ow. No, come on. He's got to give me a chance to
calm down, will you?
I am.
You had a bad run, that's all.
No, come on. I'm not going to change. Come on, Yeager. Deal the damn cards.
Boy, you too drunk to play anymore. Thanks for the game.
All I remember is feeling dizzy. And I was out of it. And I came around, I guess, when I heard the shots.
Oh, my God. Mr. Boyd, did you shoot the Louisville Sport? If you did, say so. There are defenses, justifications. Did you catch him cheating? Did he have a gun?
I don't know. But I was pretty out of it, I guess. I mean, I was, one more hand, that's all I needed. My luck was changing. You know better than me.
Did you kill him? You could have, couldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I could have. But I don't know, Mr. Rogers. I just don't remember.
All right. Thank you. I'll consider this.
He's scared, Papa. You've got to help him.
Nora, he'll alienate the jury and the press. That boy won't have a friend in the courtroom.
But, Papa, he's a luckless pot. He didn't kill the Louisville Sport.
Oh? And how do you know that?
I know it here. My stomach told me.
Oh, your stomach told you, huh? Well, you know, the Chinese believe that the stomach is where the soul resides.
Well, that's it then. Every time you asked a question, my soul told me he didn't do it.
Mr. Rogers, this is Boyd's girlfriend. She has been waiting to see you.
My name's Francie. The officer said you may be taking Al's case. I've got some money. It's not much, but I can get more. I wait tables at the Driftwood Cafe on Ocean Avenue. I can work an extra shift.
Well, Al doesn't need that, Francie. His father would pay all costs.
Oh, well, the thing is, Al and I love each other. We're getting married, so you gotta get him off.
And when is the wedding going to be?
Soon. Al said real soon. Just as soon as his ship comes in.
How long have you known Al, Francie?
He came into the Driftwood last week. It was quick. We spend a lot of time together. He's usually waiting for me in my room.
And he stays with you through the night?
Yes.
What do you know about the poker game, Francie?
Nothing.
Do you know Harry Johnson or a woman he contacted named Queenie?
I know Harry, but I don't know anybody named Queenie.
Miss, if you want to see Boyd, you must go in now.
Oh, yes, sir. Mr. Rogers, please help Al. You're the only one.
Oh, Papa, it's just like Romeo and Juliet. It's like one of those grand passions like in the poems we read. You've got to help Al. You've got to get him off so they can get married.
Well, all right now. Let's look at the facts. 1, it was Boyd's gun. 2, Harry Johnson was an eyewitness. 3, the state can show motive and opportunity. 4, Boyd himself cannot say he didn't do it. 5, 6, and 7, I cannot introduce your stomach as evidence.
Papa?
No. No, I'm not surprised that Queenie made herself scarce. That means she knows something about that poker game that we should know. Find her, Bill. All right.
You did sleep on it.
A little. Here's how it looks. There were 3 men in that room. Al Boyd, Harry Johnson, and the Sport. Now, we know the Sport didn't shoot himself, and according to your stomach, Al Boyd didn't do it. So who does that leave?
Harry Johnson. He killed the sport? Is that what happened, Papa?
I don't know. But if it is, we're going to have to prove it.
Come on, then. Let's get to our office.
Nora, don't you think you should change first?
Oh, be right back. Papa, do we get to see the corpus delicti?
Well, I think we'll just take the police's word that there is one.
I saw a corpus delicti squirrel once.
Easy there, fella.
What's wrong with him?
He's drunk.
Why does he do that?
It's a mystery, Nora. Mystery of all time.
Mr. Rogers.
Morning, Miss Morton.
Who was that?
That was a friend of mine.
She's pretty, isn't she?
Yes, she is. Nora, I can't go to the office right now. There's something I have to do. I want you to go into Stanley's and buy yourself an ice cream.
I don't want an ice cream. I want to go with you.
You can't. Go tell Stanley to send your mother a quart of strawberry, all right? I'll be back for you as soon as I can.
Yes, Papa.
Even as I followed Papa that day, I knew I shouldn't be doing it. Maybe it had something to do with what Mama had said, about there being things about Papa you didn't find out about right away. Maybe I would have done it anyway. It was the most amazing place I had ever seen. There were ladies all around. I remember thinking, what was Papa doing there? Why had he come to a place like that? It seemed very strange to me.
I'm sorry, honey, you can't come in here.
But I have to see my father. My father...
Nora! I told you to wait at Stanley's. I don't like you disobeying me.
Yes, Papa. But you forgot something really important. You forgot we have to go to the jail and tell Al Boyd you're taking the case. You don't want him sitting there all worried.
I see. Pearl, this is my daughter. If Nora wants something, she can usually figure out a way to get it. Nora, this is Pearl Morton.
Well, I'm very pleased to meet you, Nora. Your daddy talks about you a lot.
Pleased to meet you, ma'am. Papa, is this a whorehouse? From the tree next door, you can see carriages and automobiles pull in at night. Don Brown says it's called a whorehouse.
Now, we call it a sporting house.
Do you come here often, Papa?
I used to. Before I met your mother. Before you were born.
You're here now.
Pearl and I are old friends. I also happen to be her lawyer.
So that's why you're here? To do law work?
No. To ask Pearl to help us find Queenie.
I'll see what I can do, Earl.
Meanwhile, I am going to have that damn tree chopped down.
Let's go get that ice cream.
Bye, Pearl. You should have seen her, Mama. She was so beautiful. She'll find Queenie, I'll bet.
I'll see what I can do, Earl, she said.
Wash, Nora.
I am. You see, Bill Jory hasn't been able to find Queenie yet. We can't do anything about the case until he does.
Your ears, young lady.
Mama, have you ever been to a whorehouse? Ow. Ow.
Really, Earl, taking her to a place like that.
I didn't take her, Belle. She followed me.
You should have known she would. She follows you like a puppy dog. You didn't have to go there to begin with.
It was part of the case.
Of course. And how many other times do you go there as part of the case?
You're gonna have to stop thinking about that, Belle. It was years ago.
You say.
I was a bachelor. A lot of young men went there to play cards, to drink.
And?
Not since we've been married.
Earl, no matter what I do, it comes out wrong. I'm afraid I don't suit you.
You suit me fine.
I don't have your wit. I'm not smart. Blanche thinks I'm a nitwit.
You're not a nitwit. It doesn't matter what Blanche thinks.
I don't know. Things are so different than I thought they would be. There's so many distractions, so many claims on you. I'm afraid I'm gonna lose you.
You're not gonna lose me. Because I'm not gonna lose you. Oh, hello, Your Honor. How are you? No. No. No, sir, it's no bother. Oh, what's that name again? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I see. Well, I'll look into it and let you know as soon as I can, Judge. Well, thank you.
Do we have another case?
A man named Charles Moutry is accused of shooting and killing his wife.
Another case? Hot dog, we are cooking on 2 cylinders.
Now, just hold your horses, young lady. I have to look into it first. Now, listen. It might do us both some good if you stay home tomorrow and do exactly what your mother wants, all right?
Yes, Papa. Good night.
Good night.
Five, 6, 7, 8, go 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6.
Naturally, I did what Papa said. With 2 cases on the burners, I didn't want him to get mad and fire me. So he just had to investigate the Moutry case without me.
The police! Open up in there!
I've told the police. I didn't do it. Martha shot herself.
Why would she do that?
Because she was racked with pain. And she was going deaf. All she could see ahead of her was a life full of misery.
Had she tried to kill herself before?
Yeah. Yeah, she did. It's not something we talked about.
Why was there a gun in the house?
I do a lot of traveling in my line of work. I carry it with me.
What is your line of work, Mr. Moutry?
I work the county fairs.
Doing what exactly?
I'm a pitchman.
And what did Mrs. Moutry do before you were married?
She's a dancer. You know, a chorus girl.
Where?
At the Club Trinidad, Paradise.
Is that all?
Yeah. All right, she was a waitress.
She hustled drinks.
Yeah, so what do I care? I didn't care what she did. I loved her. I married her. 12 wonderful years.
Mr. Moutry, do you have a girlfriend?
No. No, absolutely not. I know people will say anything.
All right, that's all. Thank you.
Hey, you didn't say you're going to take my case.
That's right, I haven't.
Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, I'll have $500 for you by the end of this day, and the rest after I'm acquitted.
And if you aren't?
You're a winner, Mr. Rogers. I will be.
Papa worked on both the Moutry and Boyd cases at the same time, and he'd still be just as thorough as he always was. He went back to the scene of the sports shooting and talked to Davin, the bartender.
I headed to the card room. Harry Johnson was there, white as a sheet. Al shot him, he said. And all of a sudden, he just went berserk.
What did Johnson do then?
He ran to the washroom. To throw up, I guess. I called the cops. Could I serve you something to drink? On the house. Now, it'd be a privilege.
No, thank you. I see you have some souvenirs of the event.
Police didn't want them. I figured them for conversation pieces. You sure you don't want a drink?
No, thank you.
Oh, I get it. Can I offer you some soda pop instead?
No, thank you, Mr. Davin. You've been very helpful. I appreciate it.
Papa arranged with the prosecutor, C.C. McComas, to talk to his star witness, Harry Johnson, the only other person in the room with Boyd and the sport.
Now, Al says he can't remember anything about the shooting, and I'm wondering if you could just help me out.
Well, I told the police. Al was dry. He's trying to get the sport to pay for his watch. The sport wasn't buying. He's standing there holding out the watch. It's crazy.
Al! Oh, come on! He's got to give me a chance to get even! Al, it's over. Calm down! No, I am calm! Hey, you had a bad run like that? Oh, bull! Come on.
I tried to calm him down. Quick as a flash. Al drew and shot.
Quick as a flash.
Yes, sir. Oh, blood was everywhere.
What did you do then?
Stood there till Davin, the barkeep, came in.
And then?
That's about it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I appreciate it. That's all.
That's all?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Got you this time, Earl. That Boyd fella's gonna swing.
I was wondering if you happened to read me this morning.
Oh, I never missed you, Mr. Baines. Fact is, I got a nice chuckle out of it.
You know, when I write that you're a self-thumping grandstand, a fraud making a mockery of the profession, it's not meant for levity.
I understand that, Mr. Baines. Now you understand something. Every man is entitled to a proper defense, and I intend to give it as I see fit.
Mr. McComas is going to take you down this time, lawyer. I expect to watch it all with relish.
Often wondered, Earl, why Doyle Baines likes you so much.
Well, I always give him something to write about. Excuse me, CC.
See you later.
2 coffees.
No Queenie. Girl can't find her, I can't. I've been to every cat house from here to San Perdue. More tarts grabbing at my crotch.
Well, keep looking. Boyd goes on hold until we find her. Let's go to work on Moutry.
When the news got out that Papa was going to defend Charles Moutry as well as Al Boyd, people started laying bets. Parlays even went from one case to the other. Papa's office was downtown, in the middle of everything, between the jail and the courthouse, where the cops, the criminals, and the reporters were, where things were happening. There was no better place to be. It was where you found out what was going on.
I win at one finger.
I want finger 2.
Oh, I gotta answer the phone. Your finger's fatter than mine. I win. A Rogers office. This is his assistant. Oh, yes, ma'am. My father has a secretary, but she went to the toilet. All right, Mrs. Wells. All right, I'll make a note, okay? All right, goodbye. Grandpa, you never come here.
Well, I'm looking for your father.
Roy Skinner stole my pennies. That thief, I'm gonna get him. He stole my pennies.
Wait a minute. I said I was looking for your father. Now, where is he?
Right here, Papa. This is a surprise.
We shut in the office?
Yes, of course.
Good.
Come in. Come in, Papa. Sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lou.
Well, son, I understand your client, Mr. Moutry, is anything but an outstanding character, huh?
Yes, I've heard that, too.
He's got a place up in Fresno. He's got a girlfriend up there that he's lived with on occasion.
Well, no one knows that for sure, Papa.
Yeah. A wife and a girlfriend. Might that not be a motive for murder?
Indeed, it might. But you and I both know there's no room for speculation in a court of law.
You remember when you were very young and I explained to you that a father has been placed in a relationship of love so high, so deep, so sacred? Yeah. No responsibility, even that of a priest to his flock, is as great as a father to his children.
Yes, I do remember. And I subscribe to it.
Remember when we used to sit around the supper table and talk about the downtrodden and the underdog?
And the sinner. Hearing and understanding the cry of the sinner. Yes, I do remember. In fact, those talks, as much as anything else, brought me to the law.
Then I'm sure you remember what else was said. You are permitted to be a criminal's lawyer, but you are not permitted to be a criminal lawyer.
The Moutry trial came before Al Boyd's, which of course is what Papa wanted since Queenie could not be found. Papa had a reputation for picking jurors better than anyone. But on the Moutry case, something unusual happened. He was up against a new hotshot prosecutor who was hell-bent on whipping the great Earl Rogers. So as Papa went about selecting jurors he thought would understand Moutry's way of life, J. Richard Finn blocked him every step of the way. So most of the jury turned out to be exactly the opposite type Papa tried to get.
If that isn't a hanging jury, I never saw one.
And you should thank me, Mr. Finn, for I certainly helped you pick that collection of Sunday school teachers.
I was forbidden to go to the trial, but Bill Jory gave me the blow-by-blow. J. Richard Finn spoke very ably for the state. He presented his witnesses. Little Guy Pitts.
Of course he's going to do that. He's a pimp.
Ginger LaRue.
Doesn't mean a thing.
Councilman Timothy Sullivan. Mr. Finn was so effective that Papa had very little to say to counteract the prosecution. People began to sense that Earl Rogers had met his match and was going to lose. Finally came the day of summation.
Mr. Rogers, the defense may present its closing argument.
Thank you, Your Honor. John Burbank, you will ever remember those days when you first courted your girl. And sitting on the steps of the First Methodist Church in Chillicothe will never be forgotten. Nor will you, Edward Whalen, ever forget meeting your beloved Gretchen at that high school dance in Terre Haute. Nor you, Michael Pruitt, when you stole adorable young Ellen away from your best friend. Yes, that blessed period in our lives is as holy as the sacrament of marriage itself. Those days when we first laid siege to a sweet maid's heart. But Charles Moultrie had no such blissful background for his romance. No church steps to sit upon as he held his sweetheart's hand. When he first realized that he cared for Martha with a love that surpasseth understanding, she was an actress in a tawdry, unholy club, a resort for dissipated and immoral men. But he took her away from her sordid surroundings. He gave her his name, and he brought into her loveless life the only happiness that she had ever known. Which of us, had we suddenly found ourselves loving a woman in such an environment, would have ignored her past, would have taken her to the altar and there entered with her into the holy bonds of matrimony? Which of us would have done the Christian thing? Few, I fear. Yes, Charles Moultrie loved his wife greatly, to a depth that few of us can understand. And brethren, men who love greatly do not slay those they love. He did not kill her. There was his beloved Martha, with her Bible in her lap. Could any man, no matter how low he may have fallen, kill his wife as she sat with the Lord's book open in her hands? As God-fearing men, can you believe that any man would dare commit such an act? Wouldn't he expect a bolt from heaven to strike him down? No. Martha was growing stone deaf. She was in ill health, and she saw years of pain and misery ahead of her. So she decided to take her own life rather than be a burden to her beloved husband. Brethren, has it come to such a pass today that your brother or my brother may be hanged solely on the testimony of a pimp, a prostitute, and a politician? Thank you.
Oh, you're right, Harlow. Earl Rogers is an expert at cheap theatrics.
Come on, Doyle, admit it. He's having fun.
Read about it in tomorrow's paper. Oh, jury coming back in.
Order, please. Gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor. We find the defendant, Charles Moultrie, not guilty.
Court's adjourned.
That's one they didn't teach me in law school. Mr. Rogers, you sandbagged me pretty well with those jurors.
I appreciate your taking it so well, Mr. Finn.
Next time.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. You really pulled it off.
Get away from me, you slimy bastard. You're guilty as hell.
Yeah? So what? Here it is, counselor. You earned it. Sweetheart. Let's get the hell out of here.
Hello, Mama. Hello, dear. You having a good time? Yes, Mama. Good.
Well, only you. No one else could have put all of this together.
Mama was in her element. She arranged for the celebration party for Papa's victory in a matter of hours. Senor Don's band, food from El Cholo, and that Mexican hooch people drank with salt and lemon.
Excuse me, gentlemen, but I'm claiming the counselor for myself.
This is one client I never keep waiting.
Could I have this dance, Nora? All right.
You know that you glow when you're happy? I think that's the first thing I noticed about you. I love it when you glow.
I love it when you represent clients who can pay.
Oh, I don't mind it so much myself.
Excuse me, a messenger from your father in the hall.
What is it?
He wants to see me immediately.
You have to leave now?
I think I should.
Come in, son. Sit down, son.
I didn't like summoning you from the party, but I was in the courtroom when the Moutry verdict came in.
Yes, I know. I saw you leave.
That was a contemptible victory for evil, son. We have to come to some sort of understanding here, you and I. As you well know, no father ever was more proud of his son than I am of you. But what you did in that courtroom, it was immoral.
But you reminded me yourself, Papa, that every American, high or low, is entitled to a proper defense.
A proper defense, yes, that's right. But the word is proper. And is it proper for you to save a man who you know to be guilty by deceptive and dishonest means?
Well, that debate has been going on for centuries between the greatest legal minds. As I see it, it is my business to defend everyone.
Properly. See, there's a line as clear and as broad to an honest man. There's a line between good and evil. One must draw that line. Defend everybody, yes, but do not cross the line.
I have a right, even an obligation, to state my case as best I can.
Look what you've done. You've turned loose an evil thing, and my soul trembles for you. It would have been better for you if Mr. Charles Moutry would have been found guilty as you knew him to be. I'm deeply disappointed. I'm ashamed of you, son. You must never, never cross that line again.
I still shiver to this day when I recall the devastation and confusion I felt. I ran from Grandpa's house. I wasn't going to let them know I was there and heard. What Grandpa had said of Papa was true. He had crossed the line. How long after that it happened, I'm not sure. Soon, though, before Papa and Grandpa had a chance for reconciliation.
I'm fine.
Papa didn't come home from the funeral. Not the next day or the day after that.
Why hasn't Papa telephoned yet?
I told you. He's on business. Nora, have some fudge.
Why isn't he here?
Questions, questions, questions. Don't you ever stop? You don't have to know everything.
It is absolutely disgraceful, Mrs. Dory. My boy is rotting in jail. His poor mama is stretched out in Atlanta worrying miserably about her chick, and your Mr. Rogers is nowhere to be found. I'm grateful to Mr. Baines for summoning me.
Well, just try to be helpful, Mr. Boyd.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Rogers would be jumping for joy over any help Mr. Baines could give him.
Now, I'm aware that there's been a death in Mr. Rogers' family, and for that, my sincerest condolences. But this, sir, is dereliction of duty with regard to my son.
Sir, I'm not in a position to reveal any of Mr. Rogers' strategy, but I can tell you that there's a certain witness that we've been trying very hard to find. that could
Horse
exonerate-
manure. That is one vacuous excuse for lack of progress. According to Mr. Baines here, Mr. Rogers is able to free men with wily tactics and a free flow of words. Well, I'm paying good money, for which I expect performance. Service. Mr. Jory, do I make myself clear?
Absolutely, sir.
I'll tell you this, and I'm not one for idle pronouncements. If Mr. Rogers does not appear promptly and perform, I will do everything within my considerable power to have him disbarred for abject indifference to his obligations.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Rogers will be talking with you directly, sir. Central, 651. Pearl, Jory. Can he talk?
Of course, that was all I had to hear. I knew right away where Papa was.
I'll wait.
My papa! I want to see my papa! I want to see my papa! I know he's here! I'll find him!
All right, Nora, come with me. Step in, please. Behave yourself, all right? Your daddy has had a very hard time. See, he doesn't understand why God took your grandpa in such a way. And it's like your daddy's taken God to court and he's been sort of arguing with him. But I think you're smart enough to know what I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am. I think so.
Good. See, the way I see it, we all have a little devil inside of us, and life is about doing your best against that little devil. Awful damn young for all of this. Your daddy is inside. No, wait up now. There's something else. Have you ever seen a drunk before, honey?
Yes, ma'am. Falling in the gutter.
Well, this is better than the gutter. But Earl has been drinking hard. Now, I love your daddy. Hell, we all love him.
Then why does he do it?
Just he hasn't beaten that little devil yet. Your mama's gonna kill me for sure.
Papa? Papa.
What? What are you doing here? Who let you in? Pearl!
She won't come, Papa.
Pearl! Go away,
Papa, I don't understand. Why are you here when everybody is depending on you?
Yes. Why?
Papa, they need you. I need you too. The other way.
Go get Pearl. I'll clean up.
Papa, is this what Mama meant when she said there were things about you you don't find out right away?
Go get Pearl, Laura.
She says you've been arguing with God about him taking Grandpa. You can't argue with God. He always wins.
So I found out.
He took Grandpa because Jesus wanted to walk with him and talk things over. Lowell L. Rogers, Book Divine. Thou art mine, make me thine. Grandpa wrote that in his Bible. God made him thine, which Grandpa wanted.
Earl.
I'm apologizing to you, Belle.
You've been gone 3 days without a word. You'll have to do more than that.
I'll call Loma Linda and make arrangements to go in for the cure right after the trial. Better still, you call them. That way you'll know it's done.
I will. Nora, wash up. Supper will be ready in a minute.
Yes, Mama.
Is she all right?
I don't know.
Earl, I can't love you without hating you. Or hate you without loving you. It's very hard.
Everything went back to normal for Papa. He talked to Mr. Boyd Sr. and satisfied him so he could go back to Atlanta feeling comfortable about abandoning his son. But it wasn't back to normal for me, and never would be. Not now that I knew about the devil inside of Papa, his mortal enemy. Not now that I remembered Grandpa's words. Never, never again are you to cross the line. Naturally, I had to worry if Papa would.
Hi, Willie.
Smells good.
Just the way you like it.
Thanks, Floyd.
You're welcome.
Hi, Bill.
Nora, I checked every flea bag in central L.A. I found Queenie.
Where?
Angela's Hotel. Pearl's already there. I gotta tell your pa.
Bye, Floyd.
Bye.
Now, just hold on. You're staying right here, young lady.
Oh, it's all right, Papa. I'll play wallpaper.
Come in, Earl. Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Look, I know why you're here. Forget it. I don't have to answer any questions. You're no cop.
Just calm down, Queenie. No one's accusing you of anything. I just want to get some facts.
Tough.
Oh, now, Queenie, Mr. Rogers is an old friend of mine. I'm asking you to help him out.
You put Harry Johnson and the Louisville Sport together.
Yeah? And I left them talking, setting up a deal. So what?
What deal?
I don't know. I couldn't hear what they were working on.
What makes you think they were working on anything?
Oh, come on. I could see them. They had their heads together, talking without moving their lips.
All right, let's say they were working on a deal. What kind?
I don't know.
Of course you do. The Sport was one of your best customers. He told you.
You told me nothing.
You're in no trouble now, Queenie, but if I find you've been holding out...
I don't know what the deal was. Period. Look, I don't hear anything, see anything, say anything. That's how I keep my rosy complexion.
I need you in that courtroom, Queenie. I'll fix it with the guard at the door. When I get up to cross-examine Johnson, you'll make an entrance. You'll come down the aisle. My daughter will save a seat for you next to her. All you have to do is sit there and look at Johnson.
Not me. Find somebody else.
I've been waiting a very long time to find you, Queenie. Now, you're going to do as I ask.
Mm-mm.
Wait up, Earl. Queenie, let me make it perfectly clear so there's no misunderstanding. You're going to do as Mr. Rogers asks, or you will never work in Southern California again.
But, Mama, I'll just die if I don't get to go.
Nora, dear, you simply got to stop dying every time you want something and can't have it. The whole idea is scandalous. Your Aunt Blanche agrees with me for once. A murder trial is no place for a child.
Oh, but I've got to go. I'm the only person who believed Al Boyd was innocent from the beginning. Even Papa wasn't sure. He might forget.
Your Papa is not going to forget anything. He has a very good memory.
But he needs somebody to hold open a seat for Queenie. You see, she's supposed to come into the courtroom, and Papa's got some kind of plan. It's all right, isn't it,
What?
to have some kind of plan?
Yes, it's all right.
You see, it's all right. Even Grandpa would have said so.
I'm sure Bill Jory can hold a seat for Queenie. He's a very good detective.
I'll practice piano all weekend. I'll take my French book with me and study verbs. Oh, Mama, this is the most important thing in my life. Papa is gonna save a true romance.
You want her there, don't you?
I need her there, Bill. She's my good luck charm.
Hot dog! Hurry, Papa!
Morning, Mr. Rogers. Good morning, Mr. Baines. Go inside and take your licking.
Mr. Rogers, if you could give me
I can't now, I'm sorry.
Just a couple
Francie!
Sorry, I beg your pardon.
I switched to the night shift so I could be here. Oh, Francie, don't worry so much. Papa's got some good ideas.
You've got a great father, Nora. I wish my papa was like that. That's why I left Buffalo. He'd tie one on and start shouting at me and say that I was too dumb to come in out of the rain, that I was so ugly I'd scare a fella right out of his shoes. I know I'm no beauty queen, but I do have feelings.
Of course you do.
I sent Papa a picture of Al and told him that was the man that was gonna marry me. from a fine old Southern family. Maybe Pop will see how wrong he was. You'll show him.
Now then, Mr. Johnson, isn't it?
By the end of the week, Prosecutor C.C. McComas had Harry Johnson on the stand, and time was getting close.
You two are planning to go into business together.
Yes, sir, that's right. See, we were going to open up a little cigar store together.
Well, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Take the witness.
Mr. Johnson, you testified that you asked Queenie to introduce you to the Louisville Sport so that you could set up a poker game with him. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's
Where's Queenie?
Let me ask you something, Mr.
I
Johnson.
don't know.
Isn't
I
it true
saw her
that
out
in
in the
the
corridor
last
before.
2 years, Mr. Johnson, you have been arrested for
Objection! Your Honor, I object to this entire line of questions. Sustained.
Queenie! Queenie! Queenie, you're supposed to be in the courtroom.
I'm not going to. I came to, but I'm not going to.
You have to. I've got your seat saved. Papa needs you. You promised.
Maybe I did, and maybe I didn't. If I did, I changed my mind. If I didn't, I don't have to.
You are going in. Queenie, you are going to go into that courtroom and do what my papa says, or you will never work in Southern California again.
Refresh my memory. Tell me again, how was it that you met Queenie?
I've already explained that. Queenie and I knew each other for quite some time.
I do her a favor, she'd do me a favor.
All right, Mr. Johnson. After the introduction, did you have a conversation with the sport?
Yes, sir.
Was Queenie in on that conversation?
No.
But she and the sport knew each other very well, so he could have told her about the conversation, couldn't he?
Well, yes, I suppose so.
What was the conversation about?
The usual poker game things, stakes, time limits.
That's all you talked about? The usual poker game things?
Well, no.
You talked about other things?
Yes.
Such as?
Well...
Such as a deal? Such as an arrangement? Isn't it a fact that you made a deal with the sport about the game?
Yes.
What was the deal? Please tell the court.
That the sport would give me a cut of what Al lost if I helped him win.
Help him in what way, Mr. Johnson? Be specific.
Well, you see, I wasn't playing. I never play. I don't believe in gambling. And as I could see what Al's hand was, I could signal to the sport as to what was going on.
Tip off Al's hand?
In effect, so to speak.
So to speak? Well, that's the way it was, wasn't it? You were, in effect, the sport's partner in the game.
Yes, in effect.
To double deal your buddy. To skin the man you claim to be your friend.
Yes, you could look at it that way, but
That's all, Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Rogers,
I said, that is all, Mr. Johnson.
Mr. McComas? Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Mr. Johnson, you've just admitted to cheating Mr. Boyd. Now, was that for your benefit?
Oh, no, sir. See, that was for Al's benefit.
Please explain.
Well, you see, the way I figured it, there was no way I was going to beat him. Just a matter of time, the sport would take him to the cleaners. That's why I got the idea. I figured if I made a deal with the sport, I'd get some of Al's money back. Well, I'd give it to Al. Well, sure, then we'd at least have some of his stake. We could still go into business. It was smart of me. I was looking out for y'all. See, I had to. He sure wasn't looking out for himself.
Well, thank you, Mr. Johnson. We thought it was something like that.
Nora, come on in here. Come on in and sit down. Now, Nora, you are going to be the Louisville sport. Now, when I tell you, all I want you to do is start raking in the pot, all right? Bill, let's do it this time from Boyd's perspective.
Yep.
Now, I want you to take the watch and hold it in your right hand, all right?
Got it, Earl.
Okay, go, Bill. Nora, start raking in the pot. Here we go.
Hey, wait a minute. My luck's gonna change here.
Your luck
I
is
still
over,
got this.
kid.
You gotta give
You've
me a
had it. I'm
chance
not
to get
interested
even.
in the
This is
watch.
worth a lot of money.
Forget it. The night's over, kid.
It's not over
It's
until I
over.
say
What are you
it's
doing? Don't
over.
shoot, no!
This court will come to order.
When court reconvened, Papa put Harry Johnson back on the stand.
The meaning of this.
Your Honor, I offer as defense exhibit A the table and chairs for the scene of the crime.
Objection! 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 This is
These have all been previously marked for identification, Your Honor. You got the watch?
One shop was closed, but I got it in.
Your Honor, may I inquire what is going on here?
Certainly, Mr. McComas. I am going to recreate the scene of the crime.
But, Your Honor, he's turning this into a circus.
Mr. Rogers, surely you must realize there is absolutely no precedent for this unusual procedure.
Your Honor, just because it hasn't been done doesn't mean it shouldn't be done. History is turned by innovation. If the court sets precedent here by allowing this, the life of one innocent man may be saved.
My objection stands, Your Honor.
I will allow it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Mr. Boyd sat here, you sat there, and Mr. Yeager, the deceased, sat there. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
The deceased's hat. Here, at Mr. Yeager's place. Just to help the jury see it more clearly. Ah. The ace of spades, covered in the sport's blood. Here, correct?
That's right, yes.
Mr. Johnson, would you mind taking your seat at the table?
Objection, Your Honor! Objection! I object emphatically.
Overruled. I will allow this. Mr. Johnson, you may take your seat at the table. Oh, Mr. Johnson, may I remind you that you are still under oath.
Are you comfortable, sir?
Yes, I'm fine.
Good. I myself will be the deceased. My hat would be on, wouldn't it? Like this?
Oh, Your Honor, I object to the whole procedure.
I said I would admit it.
But this is unfair. I can't even hear my own witness.
Well, then come up here, Mr. McComas. We have a seat at the table here for you, too. I'm sure it'll be much easier for you to tell Mr. Johnson what to say from here.
Now, that will be enough of that, Mr. Rogers.
Very well, then. Al Boyd was broke. He pulled out his watch and he held it out to the sport, correct?
Yes, that's what he did.
In his right hand?
Yes.
Oh, here. Use this, Mr. Johnson. Would you show me exactly how, please?
Well, like this.
And then Boyd asked the sport for money on the watch so he could continue playing, but the sport wouldn't give him any.
Nope.
And Al Boyd got mad.
Yeah, he sure did. Madder and madder.
Mm-hmm. And then, quick as a flash, as you testified, he pulled out his gun.
Quick as a flash.
What did he do with the watch as he pulled out his gun?
What?
What did he do with the watch as he pulled out his gun? Show me. Show me how, quick as a flash, he got rid of the watch, pulled the gun, and shot the sport.
Well, I don't know.
You can't do it, can you?
Well, yeah, well, I don't know. It happened awfully fast.
Yes, quick as a flash, so let the jury see how he did it.
Objection! Oh, objection, Your Honor! The witness has already said he doesn't know.
Of course he doesn't know, because it never happened that way.
Objection sustained. Mr. Rogers, I have given you enormous leeway.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry. I apologize. All right, Mr. Johnson, help the jury out here. Immediately after Boyd shot the sport, what did he do with the gun?
He kind of pointed the gun at me. But then he just threw it on the table.
And what did you do? Immediately.
Me?
Yes, you.
Well, nothing.
You had just seen a man shot to death. Didn't you cry out?
No, I guess I didn't.
You didn't yell or jump back in your chair and holler, "Please don't shoot me!"
No.
Al Boyd stood there, mean with drink, inflamed with gambling fever, holding a gun, looking at you, a man who'd been cheating him, and you didn't jump or holler or cry out or do anything?
No, I didn't. That is, not until Davin, the bartender, came in. I told him what happened.
Well then, Mr. Johnson, I must commend you on your cold nerve.
Well, I am very cool. I always have been.
Hey!
Objection! Objection! Bailiff, disarm the counselor.
No, Papa, you can't do that. You've crossed over the line.
Objection! Your Honor, this whole thing is outrageous.
Your Honor, I am simply testing the witness's own words. He certainly didn't think that I was going to shoot him in front of a judge and jury.
You are indulging in cheap theatrical tricks. Your Honor, this entire trial is without credit.
Gentlemen, gentlemen.
Your Honor, I am merely seeking the truth. Mr. Johnson was indeed the third man in that room. One of two roles is possible for him. Either he was a witness as he says he is, or he himself is the murderer.
Gentlemen, gentlemen. Mr. Rogers, with all good intentions, I'm sure, you seem to manage to cause a great deal of commotion in this courtroom. Now, you have made your point. Do you have any more questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Vital ones. After the last hand, did the sport begin collecting his winnings, some of which were yours?
Yes. Yes, that's what he did.
Why should he give you anything? He just fleeced Boyd. Why not fleece you too?
Because he owed me. We had a deal.
But you had no way to back your demand.
I had a way.
How? With a gun?
What?
With a gun in Boyd's right-hand pocket, just inches from your fingers?
No, I didn't.
You were the one who pulled that gun quick as a flash, isn't that right?
No.
What did you do after Davin the bartender came in? You went to the washroom, didn't you?
No. I mean, yeah, I did.
To be sick?
Yes, that's right.
To be sick or to wash the powder burns off your hands? Did you, Mr. Johnson? Did you wash the powder burns off your hands?
Did I?
Yes, Mr. Johnson. That is exactly what you did.
Papa had succeeded in what he wanted to do. He had put reasonable doubt in the minds of the jury. Everyone knew Al Boyd would be acquitted, though the fact is, Harry Johnson himself was never brought to trial.
What are your plans now, Al?
Have myself some fun. My old man's wired me some moolah. I don't think it's to buy me a train ride back home.
Francie is waiting for you. She is just so excited.
The back way?
Yep. Nora, go tell Francie we'll be right out.
Oh, she already knows.
Do as I say. Go tell her.
Yes, Papa.
Hell, Rogers, I mean, you've been around. She's a mutt. She's good in the dark. But hey, you made a hero out of me. A lot of knees gonna be spreading for me. So, I got everything I need to have myself a good time. That is, unless you can direct me to a good card game.
I told her she is so happy.
That's great. Ah, I'll see you.
Papa, where's he going? That's the back way. Francie is waiting right in there.
He knows that, Nora.
Papa?
He doesn't want to see her, sweetheart. He doesn't want to be with her.
But she loves him. He promised he would marry her.
I know.
Do you think he'll like it?
You look very beautiful, Francie.
Oh, thank you.
Francie, are you pregnant?
No. No, Mr. Rogers, I'm not.
Good. Boyd's gone.
What?
He's gone. He ducked out the back way.
But I don't understand. We had plans. I wrote my father.
Try to believe me, Francie. You just got lucky.
He's a stinker. He's a liar. Papa Al Boyd is a louse. We shouldn't even have helped him. It's not worth it.
Well, Nora, your stomach told you that Boyd was innocent. And the jury agreed with you. Let me ask you a question. Did we do it because he's a good man, or because it was right?
I see what you mean, Papa.
What was all that about crossing the line?
I was at the window and I heard you and Grandpa talking. I didn't mean to, but You know how I like to hear things and know what's going on?
Did you hear everything?
Yes, Papa. That's why I've been watching over you.
Good. Keep watching.
I did, of course.
My turn.
Very closely. From that point on, it seems Papa and I worked on one case after another, always with a person's life at stake. I wish I could say Papa never crossed the line again. I can't. But I can say that he did call Loma Linda and take the cure. In fact, he kept taking it again and again. Mama used to say she couldn't hate Papa without loving him, or love him without hating him. But she was his wife. I was his daughter. So even though he kept losing the battle with his enemy, I couldn't hate him at all. All I could do was love him.